Hi, Sharice Okamoto with the March market report. Okay, so everybody's heard the news. Mortgage debt has reached over $10 trillion and everybody's freaking out, right? Well, let's take a look at that a little bit more in depth. Obviously, as home prices go up, mortgage debt is going to go up as well. We know that there's about 138 million homes, and of those, anywhere depending on who you listen to, 39 to 42% have no loan at all. No loan at all, right? They own their house free and clear. 56% of those 138 million people have more than 50% equity in their home. So when you look at that, or you hear that number that there's $10 trillion worth of mortgage debt, you have to understand that as home prices go up, your mortgages are larger, right? That's just common sense. There's more people buying homes now than there were back in 2006 and 7 because of the population growth. If you missed the last market report, check that one out. And it talks about how there's a spike of new buyers coming to the marketplace just because the population has increased. So check that one out if you haven't already looked at that. This next slide talks about the percentage of your household debt, your mortgage versus your disposable income. So back in 2007, at the peak of that housing bubble, this number was at 7.21%. Today, it's at 3.85%. So again, even though our mortgage debt as a nation is higher, the percentage of that going towards versus our disposable income is way less than it was back in 2007, 8 during the housing bubble. So that's also good news. So don't just listen to the scare tactics that, oh my gosh, $10 trillion worth of debt, we're gonna have another bubble, the housing market's gonna crash. That's not what the experts are predicting. One more reason that they don't see a crash coming is because back in 2006, home equity cash outs, people were pulling out money to buy boats, to buy fancy cars, to buy jeans, basically to live their life, right? So that debt was at 320 billion back in 2006. As of Q3 of last year, it's at 103 billion. So we're way below that number. And what people are doing because of COVID last year is they were pulling money out of their house as a safety net. So even though we have $103 billion of cashed out home equity, not all of that is being used, right? People were being smart. They pulled out money because they weren't sure what was going to happen with their job, and it's sitting in their bank account right now. So again, way different than it was in 2006 and 7. The next one we hear is that there's going to be a huge wave of foreclosures coming. Back in 2009, at the peak of the foreclosure market, we were at just over 566,000 foreclosures. The average is about 200, just over 200,000. Right now, in Q4 of last year, we only had 14,000 foreclosures. And of course, that's because of the moratorium, right? The government is not allowing foreclosures to happen. So of course that number is really low. Now, once the people who come out of forbearance, there's 320,000 people in forbearance right now. And that number probably will go up as the economy continues to recover. So let's say all of those 320,000 homes came on the market tomorrow. That's gonna put us just slightly over the average number of foreclosures. But that's not gonna happen. They're all not gonna be foreclosed on at the same time because they all went into forbearance at a different time. And that's to say they're actually gonna be foreclosed on because remember we said that 56% of homeowners have at least 50% equity. So the likelihood of all 320,000 homes coming onto the market as a foreclosure at the same time is highly unlikely because one, they all went into forbearance at a different time. Two, they may refi, they may tack that what they owed to the back of their loan. They may sell and walk away with a profit and not become a foreclosure at all, right? So there's so many different variables, but the experts are not forecasting that all of these homes are going to create a wave of foreclosures. So even if all of these 320,000 people who are in forbearance come onto the market at the same time, which they won't, because our inventory levels are so low, it'll get eaten up by the market right away. So one, the experts really truly believe that there's not going to be a wave of foreclosures and we're going to see a housing crash again. And that $10 trillion worth of mortgage debt, you have to put it relative to home prices coming up. There's more buyers in the market. So if you have any questions about any of the headlines that you're hearing that might be a little frightening to you, please reach out to us and we can help clarify versus terrify, which is what the news is doing. Hope everyone is doing well. If you need any information on your home or your neighborhood in particular, please feel free to reach out to us. Thanks so much.